So we're back home. I know I haven't recorded much this week, but it's just been one of those weeks. Um, Hopefully things will start being a little easier to record and catch up on stuff and everything during this week. Today's the 14th of September, and we did all the stuff that we needed to do with the girlfriends, and my spouse had a good birthday. Her birthday lasted several days. I think she was pretty happy with it and all that. She's actually still getting birthday presents. Still. For the next couple of days, she's still getting presents, so she should be pretty happy with that. Um, Sleep schedule stuff last night went pretty good, I think, for the sleep schedule changing stuff, and she was able to do her appointment and not be like super groggy for it and like dead, and that's good. So hopefully her psych will be pleased with that, and medication changes can happen, and that's all good. It's been less stressful on that regard, I guess, but I still am stuck for my exercising. I tried to exercise some while we were at the girlfriend's. I went for a walk today, and then I did a little bit of exercising. I might do some more today. I don't know. I'm still just stuck. I'm not losing anything, and part of it is that my spouse got not one but two birthday cakes, an ice cream cake and a cheesecake. And that's extra calories you don't need, and it doesn't add to your muscle. It just doesn't add to anything except your taste buds. But it's a birthday, whatever. Um, but man, I just can't seem to get past whatever this plateau is. Um, but I haven't had the availability until today to truly start practicing the whole switching up your reps and your sets, and doing the negative part of an exercise instead of the positive part of it and all that stuff. So I'm hoping that I can implement that this week, because if I can do that for a week straight, then supposedly being like activating all those different muscle groups that you don't normally do with just your routine exercising that you're progressing, hopefully helps push you out of a plateau and stuff like that. And I would really, really, really like to break out of the plateau. I've been trying to keep my protein at least a little up, but I feel like I could be doing more on that end too. I don't know why it's so hard for me with the protein. For some reason the protein just I struggle with it. We're here without our girlfriend. She's been staying with us all summer. And this is the first time we're like apart, and since the whole summer, and I did not sleep well at all last night, and I slept so poorly that I kept waking up my spouse. So that sucks. Especially since she went to bed so well last night, like so well. I hate long distance. I finally got up because I wasn't sleeping and just started doing like chores that needed to get done and catching up on things that need to get caught up on, responsibilities, all that kind of stuff. I still have more to do. I have a giant basket of like 3 loads of clean laundry I need to go fold and stuff like that, but at least it's done. Gotta take out the trash still and stuff like that, but I mean, I've done a lot today, like so much today, especially on catching up on responsibilities that I've been putting off because other things were more immediate. Catching up on some of those back burner responsibilities, like registrations for things, and like I've had like a year to sign up for this recall thing for there was a recall on my car at one point years ago, and I mean, I have till March of 2021, but I've had over a year to get in on it or whatever, and then they send you back and reimburse you for the time that it got recalled. You know, we're kind of too poor for me to skip out on money, but at the same time, I just couldn't get around to it. Lots of ittle piddle stuff like that, and then monthly responsibilities and things. Like, I've been doing a lot today. My mom was talking to me and she was distressed because she didn't get my spouse her birthday present on time, and then it turned out she couldn't even get the birthday present to her because of something, I don't know. So she's gonna send raw money and have us just get it and all this stuff. And she felt really bad, and I could tell she was just distressed, and she was doing it all by text instead of calling me, which was also a little odd because she calls everyone for their birthday. So I flat out said, "You seem stressed. Is something wrong?" And my sister, she had cancer, and she had the surgery, and it seems to be the cancer's completely gone. That's awesome. That's amazing. But my mom was the one taking care of her. And then my father came back from visiting my grandmother in Alaska and came back with a ton of demands. And basically demanded that my mom wait on him hand and foot while he gets his robot feet. That's what we call it. He's actually replacing his ankles and stuff with metal and things like that. But basically, his feet are completely destroyed from when he was in like a plane crash when he was in his 20s, and they're just to the point of completely non-functional. So he's not going to be able to walk or nothing like that. He's going to have to get his feet replaced, well, his ankles and stuff, so that he can actually move his feet, and it's not just like a giant shard of spurs, which is what it is now. Anyway, so he not only to wait on him hand and foot while that happens, which they've talked about his feet for years. So I mean, she was expecting that that was going to be coming up, but then also to be working on the house while he's not working on it because he wants it ready to sell by spring, and her to retire by spring, and them to go to Alaska and live in the backwoods by my grandmother on her land. That's not what they discussed for retirement at all. And my mom doesn't want that. And I don't blame her. But even besides that, it's like isolation. And I'm fine with isolation. But, my mom isn't. My mom's a spirited woman. And she's a good woman. She's kind and big hearted. She and he have always discussed traveling to see all the grandkids and the family, and to see places and go to lighthouses and stuff like that. That is what she always has wanted. She's been very clear about that for like at least the last 2 decades. And he all of a sudden is just demanding for her to drop everything because he's the husband and he's the man. And it's like, what the? And they screamed at each other for a couple days and then just stopped talking. And she is upset because they aren't talking at all. But at the same time, she deserves better than that. My father, for whatever reason, is becoming a terrible person in old age. And he didn't used to be like this. And that's what's really, really disturbing is he used to be a much better person. And in the last couple of years, while Trump's been president, he has just bought into the conspiracy theorying and the arrogance and the misogynistic like crap. And she's a person. And quite frankly, the best thing he ever did for me in my entire life was marry her. Flat out. And he's not worthy of her at this point. His behavior and his sheer mind-blowing amount of stupidity, he does not deserve her. I don't understand his crap at all. Like, they've discussed for years and years traveling. They wanted to go, spend the year in quarters. A quarter of the year will go down to the southern families, and a quarter of the year will go over to the northeastern families, and a quarter of the year will go live in Alaska, and then a quarter of the year will go visit family out in the northwest. And that's been like the plan for a very, very long time. They even bought a house down in freaking Florida so that they'd have a house there. They have like a lot of family that they can just stay with in the Northeast, and then in the Northwest they have a house, and then my grandma lives in Alaska, and they could just live with her as long as they want, as long as they help out with chores, because that's when you're at my grandma's, you help with chores. But that's it. And it was like this really simple, easy plan. They even thought for a while, oh, maybe they'll get an RV or something and drive between the places and relax and travel and go to national parks and have this good retirement. And now he's like, no, we're not doing any of that. And it's like, what in the it's like a ghost came and sucked my father out of his body. And my father has never been a perfect man, and my father has always unfortunately leaned conservative with some of his viewpoints and stuff. And he has done things that are not that great, but he has never been like an outright terrible person ever. He's been, for the most part, a decently honorable man. I mean, not perfect at all, but certainly not this. And the thing is that's ridiculous. It is ridiculous for anyone, even if it is my father. And I try to be respectful toward my father. But anyone to just go on a trip and then come back and say, okay, you're dropping your entire life. We're getting rid of our entire house. You're going to do the work to get rid of our entire house and your entire life. And we're going to go live in the backwoods of Alaska now. Congratulations, your life is over. This is my demand. I am husband. Hear me roar. But what the fuck? That's not okay. That's not okay for anyone to do to anyone. If I did that to my spouse, I would be ashamed to be me. Like, you don't do that to a person. Especially when it's been years and years of discussing an entirely different thing. Like, what in the world is he thinking? I just want to call him and yell at him, but she asked me specifically not to talk to him about it, and I haven't spoken to him since he decided to tell me that my health was not important and that he wasn't going to buy into the whole trans thing. And I even explained that I have actual medical reasons for transitioning. It's not just like the usual gender dysphoria. I have actual medical reasons, and it doesn't matter to him. So F him. I was like, whatever. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. I'm not going to talk to him for a while. Whatever. And what is he doing to my mom? My mom is a sweetheart. She's a kind person. I told her flat out she needs to tell him they need to compromise, but she should not compromise herself. Maybe 6 months of the year they live in Alaska, and the other 6 they travel. I don't know. But it is not okay to just rip her away from all of her loved ones and her family and just demand that she does an entire house while also taking care of him. Like, what the... What kind of level of arrogance? I don't know how I'm related to a man who would behave like this. And it's mind-boggling because he didn't used to. I mean, he did, to a certain degree, again, have his flaws. But he was so different. And the thing is it's not just him. I have people that I used to respect or that used to be like my friends or mentors or, aunts and uncles who used to not be like crazy. And they, in the Trump presidency, have just gone full ballistic, like into crazy mode. Like, I can't even fathom some of the things that come out of their mouths. And they're so, like, rigid and arrogant and belligerent. They're always looking for a fight. I don't understand it at all. And it's only recently. And it just boggles my mind because the people that they are right now are not people I would have ever been friends with or looked up to or been proud to be related to. The people that they are right this minute, it's like, when did you turn into this? Because a few years ago, this isn't what you acted like at all. It feels like a blindsiding because people that I thought I knew really well are like strangers to me now. Not just strangers, it's almost like they're my enemies. Like they actively want to hurt me. Which is so strange, because why would they want to do that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when they never wanted to do that the rest of their lives? It's so twisted and stupid, the sheer volume of stupidity. She is better than him, and if she divorces him, I would not blame her. If he is willing to throw away his entire marriage just to cross his arms and demand like this kind of crazy bullshit, he deserves it. He deserves whatever's coming to him. And I'm scared that she's kind enough and she's nice enough that she'll eventually give in or something like that. And I just want to yell at him, what are you doing? Because even if you don't give a shit about the rest of the world, even if you don't care about anyone else on the planet, you need to care about her. She's your wife. You want to be taken care of in your old age? You be nice to her. You want, to be loved? You better get it through your head real fast. She is completely out of your league. I think, in actuality, if my father doesn't get some humility and some kindness in his system, I could go the rest of my life without ever speaking to him again. I definitely could not go the rest of my life without speaking to my mom. His shift, his attitude, his whatever's going on with him is not acceptable behavior. It's not okay. I wanted a male role model and I told him that and he didn't want to be it. Whatever. But he's just gone off the deep end at this point. I mean, he's basically acting like my birth mother as far as conspiracy theories and being demanding and arrogant and terrible. Like, that's all behavior my birth mother does. That he is so against, and he's always like, ugh, about my birth mother, but he's acting like the things that he's against about her. It's hypocritical, and it's so stupid. I cannot fathom his stupidity at this point. Just can't even. Mind boggled. Just like my mind's boggled by my birth mother. My baby sister has been sick. And she messaged me yesterday or whenever it was and said, turns out we have COVID-19. My husband and I. And our birth mother, because she was staying with them. Well, she had been planning to go back to Belize. So she had already decided she was going to travel anyway, even though she was feeling sick. So she gets all the way to freaking Tennessee to stay with a friend. And now she's exposed her friend and whoever else, how many people, to it, and finds out she has COVID in Tennessee and decides she's gonna not want to quarantine there. She wants to go back and quarantine at my sister's. So she literally, knowing she has COVID-19, travels all the way back to my sister's. and exposes yet more people. And she was like, "Oh, I feel a little bad about exposing people, but it's already done, so shrug, whatever." And I'm just like, how can you not see other human beings? How can you be so completely unconscientious of other people and hurting them? Like, what were you thinking? I mean, thank goodness she didn't try to leave the country with it and take it back to Belize and everything. But on the other hand, how many people are sick or getting sick because she just decided this is what she was going to do and she doesn't care? She's like, "Oh, I feel a little bad about it." Really? You feel a little bad about exposing a disease to people where, like, literally, what is it, a third die? The world has, what, 30 million cases and 9 million have died or whatever, so almost a third. Or 900,000. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Golly, I keep saying the numbers wrong. We're literally on the cusp of 200,000 deaths in this country, but we actually have 6 million something cases. So yeah, it's not a third, but anyway. But the point is it's a higher ratio in our country of deaths than it is for the ratio of the world. The world's ratio is actually probably being dragged down by our ratio because we have more people die per person infected than the world does in the United States because, yay. Because we have a president who openly admits that he downplayed how serious it was. Like, proudly admits that because all he cares about is attention. I don't understand how people can just not care about other human beings like that. And somehow I come from two people who don't. Like, blood wise. Just mind boggling. It would have been inconvenient to be at her friend's place sleeping on a couch instead of going back to my sister's, where my sister has a guest room. So she literally exposed how many people to COVID-19 because she was inconvenienced. Her poor friend. Like, and the thing is, she's not even dying. She went on and on about how if she got COVID, she would die from it. And now she's like, COVID's not even a big deal. And it's like, it is for a lot of people. It is for a lot of people. So now she's gonna be like, not even taking it seriously, even more than she already isn't taking it seriously. Like, maybe it's super terrible of me, but I am starting to realize that the world would probably be a better place without some of the people I'm related to. And I don't wish harm on anyone, but I am realizing it's such a detriment to the world, and it's so unfair to see genuinely good people suffer and struggle, and to watch genuinely terrible people, even if they're people you love, they're still terrible people. Watch them just skirt along. The life is cruel. And I'm so sorry that it's so unjust and so unfair. But my birth mother's never really been a good person, and my father was. I think that's why it makes me so angry. My birth mother's always been that stupid. I feel a little blindsided by my father's sheer volume of stupidity. But I know my mom deserves better than him. Blood is thicker than water is only part of the phrase, and you can go look it up. But that's not actually true. That blood is thicker than water. It's just people don't want to say the whole saying. I look at the nonsense that people I'm related to, like, post and say and do or things. And I'm so ashamed to be related to these people. I'm so ashamed that people who don't care about others so significantly are where I come from. Because I am not that, and I don't want to be associated with that. Caring about other human beings is a strength. It's like the very core of morality. And they go on and on about how moral they are and how immoral all of these freaking progressive things are, and yet they're just completely disregarding the people who are being hurt and harmed. It's ludicrous to me. It's so easy to fact check, and yet they spread lies like a freaking plague. Like, it's so easy to fact check. Fact check anything I say, everything I say, because sometimes I'm wrong. Fact checked, please. Please fact check. I am so ashamed of my father's behavior. My mom said that she felt a lot better after talking with me because I tried to build her up and I tried to remind her of her value. Her husband should be doing that. But apparently he's a worthless son of a gun. I feel like I have one parent. And it's strange because she's not related to me. But she's like my only parent. And I used to think that I had my dad. I mean, my dad was abusive when we were really little. But he did change, and he did try to improve himself and become a better man and stuff, and I admired that about him. I admired that he tried so hard. And he's just not trying at all now. It breaks my heart because she is a good woman. She deserves at least his respect, let alone his caring. It just makes me angry. Makes me so mad. And I don't get angry very easily. I mean, I get frustrated sometimes, but I don't get mad. And I was so mad when I was taking my walk. I was just like, and, you know, thankfully I was walking alone and everything, but I was just like, that idiot that I just want to slap him upside the head and be like, what are you thinking? Do not chase her off. She is like the best part of your life, you idiot. You absolute moron. It's like in his old age he's turning into a toddler. Where did all of his maturity go? When did he become a child? It just, she deserves better than this. I keep saying that, but I can't see how he doesn't understand that. It just boggles my brain. I'm glad that I put a smile on my mom's face today when my worthless, useless father hasn't put a smile on her face in who knows how long. I'm glad that at least I could. Because she deserves smiles. Her life has been hard. And she is a hard worker, and she has never let that scald her into a feelingless, empty void of a person or whatever. She's always stayed generous and kind and loving toward people, and she deserves good things. She's the kind of person that I wish more people would be like. The world would be such a better place if more people were like her. I wish I had a good male role model, but at least I can say that I have a good female role model. Maybe that's part of why I wish I had a better male role model in my life of any kind, because I am quote unquote spoiled with my female role model. I love my mom. I don't just love her because she's my mom. I love the person that my mom is. I can't say that about my father. Or my birth mother. Or her pedophile husband. But I can say that about my mom.